Okay, next we're moving on to prioritizing information per task.
It's really important to know where to focus when you listen to a conversation or lecture clip. Speaking. Prioritizing information in the text of Task 2. Here's the situation. The notice or clipping and the definition or textbook excerpt are relatively short, but the excerpt in particular still contains a lot of information, and you only have 45 seconds to make your notes.
You need to identify the following in the notice or clipping. The main topic, absolutely number one priority. What is the main purpose or topic of the notice or clipping? Now, this is usually found in the first line and the heading, so just combine those two and make sure that you understand, as I said, the main topic. Now, the purpose of the notice or clipping is often in the last line, and it's the final point reached, but again, just read everything and make sure that you're on top of that. So you've got your main topic, you've got the purpose. Now just get 2 or 3 key points. You don't need to remember every single detail. Details about problems, reasons, requirements, limitations, costs, advantages, whatever those key points are, relax, turn your brain on, get that key information.
Prioritizing information in the text of Task 3. In Task 3, you need to identify the following in the definition/textbook excerpt. 1. The main concept or term, usually found in the first line plus the title or term being defined. 2. The definition or explanation of the concept or term, usually in the first half of the reading passage. 3. 2 or 3 key points within the text that support the conclusion. 4. Note any rhetorical methods, such as claims, comparisons or contrasts, deductive reasoning, causality, inference, etc.
Prioritizing information in the audio clip. Here's the situation. As you know, the conversation always between a male and female, so prepare by separating the information. We've talked about this in the tips. Put a line down and you say male, female, female, male. Make sure the information doesn't cross that line. Keep it separate. Task 2. Identify who has the opinion that will be discussed. So that's the first thing, the male or the female. Then identify how the other person feels about that position.
Why is it so important to identify the mood of the speaker? Because you will better understand what each says about his or her opinions.
The reasons given by each for his or her position. And finally, the conclusion or point. Any information and vocabulary from the notice or clipping that will be useful in your response, again, identify and make a note of it.
Prioritizing information in the audio clip of Speaking Task 3.
The situation, the lecture, as well as the possible conversation if somebody asks the lecturer a question. The lecture is always on the topic given in the textbook excerpt. You are not expected to be an expert. Don't worry about having to fully understand every nuance or point that's being expressed. Your job is just to extract information, relevant information, and use it to answer the related question. Information used, purpose, answer the question. Identify in what way the lecturer introduces the information. What further details he or she gives compared to the text. Okay, so it's building on what you've originally read. Any possible distractors to ignore. When we speak, sometimes we go back or we go we use these breaks. We simply might take a moment to waffle and come back to the main point. You're not going to do that in your speaking, but it will happen in the lecture. Then look at what support is given if the lecture is an argument. Vitally important. What support is there? Next, what key information comes from a student's question, if there is one? Within that question, there will be information, so as soon as you hear another voice, focus in again 100% on the key topic that will be brought up. And what key information comes from the resulting response from the lecturer.
Hello again. The YouTube algorithm will offer these free English lessons to more students if you do a little something to help out. Apparently, over half of you forget to like these free videos, probably because you're busy making notes. So pretty please, with sugar on top, hit those like, share, and subscribe buttons. Thank you in advance, and let's help others improve their English skills for free.